Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Josh. I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and I've recently been through a divorce. Today I'd like to talk about something that I think a lot of people who've gone through or are going through divorce suffer with, and I don't think we realize it until either we're approaching divorce or we're at the divorce, kind of within that arena. But what I'd really like to talk about is codependency and codependent relationships. A little history. A couple years before my wife requested the divorce, we were in counseling, and we discovered through the process of counseling with a really good marriage counselor that we were in a codependent relationship. I had never even heard this subject or the topic or anything about it before that. But she explained it to us. I ended up going home and reading about it and learning more about it. But just knowing about it really didn't fix it. I can tell you the way that it really manifested strongly in my former marriage was that if my ex-spouse wasn't happy, I felt it was my responsibility to make her happy. And so I was always trying to make her happy. And if she wasn't happy, I felt inside that I was a failure, that I wasn't doing my job as a husband. And therefore, I really wasn't happy. But then my ex-wife was picking up, if she wasn't happy about something, she was picking up that I wasn't happy either, which was kind of making her more unhappy. And what ends up happening is you have two people who are relying on each other to make each other happy. That is not how things are supposed to work at all, right? We are each individually responsible for our own happiness. And it is our job to make ourselves happy. Now, that doesn't obviously mean we can't try to do nice things for our spouse. We shouldn't try to be accommodating to our spouse if they're having a hard time and all of those things. There are very healthy ways to have a relationship. But when you feel like it is, at least in my case, I felt it was my responsibility to make her happy. And for a period of time, she felt like it was my responsibility to make her happy. And that is just a recipe for disaster. For me, that meant I really lost myself. I ended up giving up things that I really liked. Which was really kind of bits and pieces of myself, because I thought, oh, well, if I do this won't make her happy. And so I need to do this to make her happy. I was making changes within myself that I didn't see the need to make, that I thought were actually good parts of me, but I thought that maybe it would make her happy. And I ended up giving a lot of myself up because of the codependency that had grown within our relationship. Well, I think we were both working on trying to break that cycle a little bit. I know I can't necessarily speak for my ex, but I can speak for myself in that a little bit before the divorce, and then obviously through the divorce process, it forces you to break that codependent cycle. I had to, especially once the divorce was started, I had to stop worrying about my wife's happiness. I had to say, she's her own person, and I can't fix what if she's not happy. I can't do anything like that, but I can try to fix my own happiness. And that is a weird position to be in when you've been in a codependent relationship, because sometimes doing the necessary work to heal yourself actually feels very selfish. That's a byproduct of that codependent relationship, is if you're doing something for yourself, you feel like, oh, I am selfish in doing this, or I shouldn't be doing this. And especially if you think, well, this is something that my soon-to-be ex-spouse won't like. But the reality is I had a good counselor, a really good counselor who helped me see the error in that thinking, who helped me realize that I was responsible for my own happiness. If I was doing things that were leading me away from happiness, although I may have had, say, a good reason at the time, what sounded like a good reason, I needed to rethink those reasons and see if maybe there was kind of an error in my judgment. Oftentimes there was. Now, when I say that we are responsible for our own happiness or my own happiness, that doesn't mean I just gotta go out and live willy-nilly. Obviously, happiness is found by keeping the commandments and in keeping the commandments. So, my journey to find my own happiness in some ways had to do with me repairing my relationship with the Lord. Had to do with me realizing that I was looking to the wrong place for my happiness, which was basically I was looking to my spouse in order to validate me and to make me feel happy. That was all wrong. That was all wrong. All that validation really needs to come from me and from the Lord. That's it. And that because of the codependence, I wasn't, a healthy marriage is made up of two individuals who choose to come together, but you never lose your individuality. I had lost my individuality. The lines had become very blurred. And so I had to repair that. And that took a lot of work with counseling. That took a lot of work with, really with me and the Lord. A lot of self-evaluation, a lot of acceptance of mistakes that I never thought I had made. That I thought I was, many times when I thought I was doing the right thing, come to find out, I wasn't. And now, I've also had to learn to be very patient with myself and to be very gentle with myself, because it's easy to just beat yourself up horribly over this. But, for me, if I just remember life as a learning experience, I'm going to make mistakes. I've made mistakes. That's the plan of salvation, is we make mistakes and we go back to the Lord and say, we're going to try one more time, and He helps and He lifts us up and He keeps teaching us. That is the purpose of this life. One thing that my counselor really cautioned me on, and I've made a very concerted effort to not do, is that oftentimes when people break free from a codependent relationship, say a marriage, which when you're going through the divorce process, you're breaking that, hopefully you're breaking that codependency, was my counselor said, okay, now make sure that you're breaking this codependency, that you don't become codependent on other relationships. One that is common is apparently parents with children. So they become codependent on their children, and they create a very unhealthy relationship there. So that's something I've had to be very careful of, be very cognizant of. And I do, when I talk to my counselor, I do talk to her about that. I want to make sure that I'm kind of doing the right things there. And sometimes that's one of the dangers of people getting into dating relationships so quickly after marriage, or even dating while you're going through the divorce process, is if you've had a codependent relationship, it becomes, until you are healed, it becomes so easy to just latch onto someone else, and then you recreate those codependent bonds without even knowing it. And so, I've learned that, one, I didn't know what codependency was a couple of, call it 4 years ago now. I had no idea what it was. I'd found out that I was struggling with a codependent relationship. And then as I've talked to people who are going through divorces, I find that, man, it is a very common trait of people going through divorce, is a codependent relationship and the dangers of it. So if you're watching this video, just know that you're not alone. If you have found that you were in a codependent relationship, and that codependent relationship led to some unhealthy kind of emotional behaviors that occurred within your marriage, you're not alone. I think there's a lot more people that have been there than maybe even realize it. I know I was there, and it's definitely something that when I look, now that I am divorced and I continue to see counseling, and I continue to try to improve myself and work on myself, it's something that I think when the day comes for me to get married again, those are pitfalls I'm not going to make again. I know where those red flags exist within me. And I know And I know that if I start seeing those within a relationship, if I'm in a dating relationship, I know that I've got to stop and start doing some real quick and heavy self-evaluation to see why it's happening, what's going on, and what I need to do to discontinue that. So anyways, I'm just sharing a bit of my experience with codependency. I am, or being in a codependent relationship, I should say. I'm not a counselor. I'm not a therapist. I'm just someone who has been through a codependent relationship, who has had to break free from that and then try to learn the lessons that came from it, and in order to ensure that I don't continue that type of behavior and have another relationship like that again. So, again, my name's Josh. I am a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This channel is my own. It's not sponsored by the church. My thoughts are my own. So I've learned a few lessons along the way here. I'm hoping to share those with anyone if it can help. And I've got a lot more to learn. Thanks for coming to my channel.